Here we go. Welcome everyone. Back again today for a connecting the dots and to share, I'd say, an insight that's come up for me really powerfully today. I'm going to really try to put the pieces together. This insight's so powerful because it just makes sense of all the things that a lot of people have a lot of confusion over, especially when we hear about people being taken out, replaced, masked, game theory. And some of the things that go on, it's like it doesn't make sense. When you look at it from the highest perspective and see what this is all about, it all fits in nicely. And you can start understanding why some of this is so ludicrous and doesn't make any sense for us. But we're only still looking at it through our eyes, through our experience. So a lot of our knowledge and understanding over the last few years has enhanced our awareness for a lot of things that go on in life. And because some of these things are so outrageous, it kind of leaves a few pieces missing on this story. And again, this now, for me, ties it all together. And we really got to change the perspective completely in terms of the characters that we're looking at, because it's a lot bigger than this. It's biblical, it's a spiritual war. You'll start seeing all of the things come together. So, like the immigrants coming in, and you're seeing all the borders, and you're seeing all these people getting slapped in the face and phones stolen and beaten up, all the things that you're seeing online, all the nonsense that we see with the Biden administration and all the mainstream media. Like there's a easier explanation. So let me just wait for a few more people to jump on. Today, again, this is a live connecting the dots. So I will record this, and today I'll share the screen and go on the Q post just to attach a few more stuff. But I'll also do additional video, which I'll put on my YouTube with other videos and zoomed in on the Q posts, just to make it a bit more easy to understand. So we got Harry, so much on Flynn, good guy, bad guy. Do we have a Flynn double who goes on other so-called truther shows who we know are not good? And then the pagan prayer. Flynn's good. If people haven't looked into Flynn, all you can see is he's good. He was a threat to Obama's administration and every bad criminal out there. He got sacked by the Obama administration in 2004. His dad served with Peyton. His brother is currently 4-star general in command right now of the military. That on its own is very powerful. But if you look at when they lost, the first person they targeted was Flynn, because Donald Trump said, I want him on board with me. So they did all they can to try to silence him. And this is where the Pfizer comes in. Pfizer brings down the House. So the fact we're hearing a lot about Flynn now, and all the pages on Twitter that go after Flynn, the original ones like Breb Shiesty, they're CIA pages. They're the ones that do the research, and it's Flynn blow this and Flynn blow that. But every person that Flynn is with, he's pointing for us to look at them. And all these people like the Linwood page, which is controlled by us, and all the ones that like the Linwood pages, they now can call out people. So this would be part of game theory that I'll explain today. He's a hero, and he, like Admiral Mike Rogers, like Edward Snowden, like Julian Assange, we're going to see the importance of them. So yeah, for me, it's good. I will do one on Flynn, but this one I feel connects even more dots. Hey, Stevie Bananas. Hey, Harry, what's your dig on this one? Harvard University Muslim alumni. Huma. Yeah, Huma's got loads of meanings, which we'll go through. But Harvard's going to come into it quite a lot. John, oi, mate. Great meditation tonight. Thank you. Very different playlist. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Yeah, it was very different today. Hi, Gaz. Good to see you. Cody Kidd, good to see you. Long time. Hi, Nicola. Everyone in the chat, hope you're sending love from Scotland. Evening, Warriors. So welcome, people. So the last call I did was about looking at evil and really trying to zoom out and pay attention to the world that we live in. And then also look at the movie that we're being shown, all this stuff. It really highlights that the movie's been designed so impressively to keep us away from evil, because we are clearing out evil. Gangs, violence, crime, corruption, money laundering, all evil. The movie we're watching has already taken place. The politicians, that's a story, it's a narrative, it's already taken place. They've already committed their crimes. The CIA and FBI, where people keep saying they're bad. The FBI were bad before Trump come in, and he sacked them all. CIA were only bad because of John Brennan. Trump sacked him. James Clapper sacked him. All these people went when Trump went. So when people keep saying FBI are bad, CIA, no, they're not. We're in full control. And you can see that quite easily. And if you say they're bad, who are bad in there? Name me a person that's bad in there. You can't. You're unable to now because they all got cleared out. So all of the things that we keep getting stuck on is because people are telling you certain things. And I know it's going to get even more to the point where people that I even feel are good people are going to leave you guessing, are going to keep it open. Like on the Flynn thing, where all of these truthers that hate on Flynn, the gatekeepers, and all of them say Flynn's a liar, he's a deceiver, yet all of them, their only proof that Flynn's bad is a quote that Flynn actually said himself, where Q is bullshit. See, that's it. Doing it on purpose. And that's not him, it's changed. Look at his face. There's two photos. It's part of the narrative. All I encourage people, go and read his book, Fifth Generational Warfare. It tells you. And his movie comes out on the 9th of April as well. So we're going to find out a lot, but his name's so important. Assange, I mentioned just earlier, he's back in court tomorrow. And it's Assange, which I realized he has the servers. Servers bring down the house. So we are at that stage. I really feel like this is going to be the cement for it for us to understand. And I'll go with my logic on this. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Oh, amazing. Thank you, guys. Hi, Jitis. Grammy Goose 58. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Tony. So let's go into my thought process today, because I will look at the Q post for about an hour and I just scroll through looking at different things. And Julian Assange come up today, and I'll just see if I can find, I did share it in my group, and it said, just in, Britain's High Court will announce the verdict in the Julian Assange case tomorrow at 10:30. So then I searched Assange on the Q posts, and I literally just sat there. And this is how I kind of operate. And an idea comes in my head, and I try to put things together. And then I saw something, and then it hit me so hard. It's getting fun now. Hey, Daniel, good to see you again. Thank you for your input last live. And again, a big shout out to people, because I am quite relentless, and people say I'm brutal with my responses. I'm not. I'm just, if you know me, it's the same. If you're on TikTok, I've got so many haters on there, because I'm going to show you an example of the TikTok. I block most of the negativity, because what happens is people get in this loop and they see a comment and they just repeat the same thing. And we'll come back to one of the questions I said about evil. I did a post on TikTok. I asked a question, I shared some of that last video, and it's about 35,000 views now, but there's over 850 comments. And all of the answers, all of them, is kind of backing up everything I said, like in terms of what evil is. And it makes you laugh. And I'm hoping, again, so what I'll show you today, and I'd like you to comment after, this will then make more sense of how stupid it is. So quick question for you. And I think you're sick in the head if you don't agree with this, but anyone that pushes trans, paedophilia, drag on kids, it's child abuse, right? Would you all agree with that? It's sickening, it's disgusting. So on some of these comments, I asked the same question. It was the same video. I just clipped it out and I said, who's the most evil people out there at the moment? Most evil. And all the answers are the same. Like, you'll see, I'll go through it all. It's just, and then people come up with all these random answers like Cain and Satan and devil. alcohol and drugs, and they'll say all random stuff too. But you'll see other people have done that round it, so it's still not free thinking. It's just someone's trying to get a different answer in. But yes, 100%, definitely. Okay, so if we was to teach our kids the truth, or I wouldn't even say the truth, get our kids questioning, get our kids looking at things objectively, let's face in the facts. If we're telling our kids, and this answer come up quite a lot, and I'm like this, Taylor Swift is the most evil person in the world. Most evil. Disgusting she is. She's most evil. Would you say if you're teaching your kids that, that's child abuse? Because if she's the most evil person in the world, how are they ever going to be able to trust anyone? That's the most evil. And it's ridiculous to even think you could put Taylor and the Swift in a room full of all those cartel MS-13 gang members from Salvador that all got tattooed and stuff, and they put them in the same room. And you go, look, guys, he's the most evil in the whole world. Would that be a laughing situation? You'd end up getting killed for being so stupid. So if we are teaching our kids, and this is where it has to be careful, and now it makes even more sense where you get a lot of people that say, um, what was I going to even say then? You threw me then, Gaz. I don't follow pop music, but I love the breakdown you did on the Taylor Swift latest video. But just use her as being evil. She writes all her own songs, she fills up stadiums, she produces her music, she sings her music. She's at the very best at what she does. She's been in the industry all the time. I don't know her, can't judge her. But we're talking about the most evil. If we just use common sense, the most evil, paedophilia, raping, murdering, cutting fingers off, hanging people, burying them alive, the most evil, would they be allowed out? Would they be allowed to be in public still singing songs? Think about it. So if we're telling all our kids that all these people are evil, and that was what I was going to say, and that statement, well, my family think I'm crazy. They're never going to wake up. They think I'm crazy. You are crazy if you keep saying Tom Hanks is the worst of the worst. Taylor Swift is the worst of the worst. Oprah is the worst of the worst. When you've actually got some evil, evil people in this world. So I got it mixed up. I think it was the breakdown. What's up, Harry? Stay safe as always. So if we're telling people like that, how are kids are going to learn? So that was one of them. But I just again trying to understand evil. We've been kept away from it, and because most of us are good people, we can't even contemplate what evil is, and they haven't shown that. No, my granddaughter listens to Taylor. I listen to her lyrics, and most do not see or hear coding in her words. She is definitely a wordsmith for sure. And anyone that's in creation, that is God. And this is going to be a big part of this is God, creation, inspiration, innovation. So keep constantly asking myself, what's it going to look like? This big scare event, when there is the EBS and blackout and all these things that we keep talking about prepping us for, there has to be something like that because there's still a lot of evil that operates. And it's a world in the matrix where there's a lot of money in the big cities, all these places around the world. It's the same sort of things being replicated. So at some point, it all has to go in one swoop. Donald Trump keeps mentioning about 24 hours. Donald Trump also mentioned about the death penalty for drug traffickers and human traffickers. And he said within 24 hours, crime will go down 75% in 24 hours. That means there has to be a big takedown. I feel 5G is going to be a big part of that. I really do. And the military are tracking everyone to the T. So how would you explain that to the world? Well, when I watched Fear City, and I'm hoping most of you have watched that now, and you see how they took down the mob back then in the 80s, this is the same process, same organizations. They were at the very highest in terms of the families, the gang families, which controlled all of America, but also did importing with South America and places all around the world. they used something called the RICO Act, and it allowed the prosecutors and the governments and all the law to take people down as part of a one organization, because these people at the top who'd never got involved with any of the crimes or the murders, but they gave the go ahead. And with the evidence, with the proof, they could get the warrant signed off to take them all down. So so this is a worldwide RICO, yes, indeed. So that's the only way that it could ever be explained to the rest of the world. Oh, can you imagine like talking about corrupt multi-billionaires in the oil industry in India, and they've just been taken down, and you try explaining that to someone, all of us, none of us would know who they are. It wouldn't mean anything. If you say all the governments, all the people in this, all these human, they've all been taken down like one big sweep, that would make more sense. So as I was then looking at this whole war that we're in, and the biblical war, and I feel that it's quite isolated. We're looking in America, and we've got like the different leaders that the names keep coming up: the Trudeau's, the Macrons, Klaus Schwab, all these names. But we're still kind of in here. One thing that's been kept away from us, and this is where it is zooming right out and going right back. And I really feel it comes back to Christ now, and the land up there, which is now called Israel. You've got all the Muslim countries. This is a spiritual war on Christ, God's children, and it's the Islam faith, the Muslim faith, and it's all those countries, the Saudi kingdom, which is the head of the snake. The Saudis have kind of been kept out of our history lessons at school. In the movies, before, I used to say Hollywood's so evil. They always portray the Arabs as the terrorists. Well, they are. If we start seeing what really goes on, is about destroying God's children. If you look at all of the countries, the neighboring countries, and this is hoping will stick in a bit more, and try to, again, the reference will be the films because we wouldn't have a clue otherwise. Places like Afghanistan, and you see a lot of the war films out there where it is just desert, it's huts, and people just live with goats walking around and selling bread in the street, dusty roads, shanty towns. Literally, there's nothing there. So to create, think about architecture around the world that only can come from God's people, God's children. I feel at that time there was blacks, and then there was the Arabs. I call Arabs the people that would be in the caves, staying out the shade, because blacks was set up to handle God, the sun, right at the highest point. Over time, this land spiraled down. But Saudi Kingdom have always influenced all of this. If you watch The Chosen and you start seeing the way that Jesus was crucified by people that was promoting the Torah, the Old Testament, and they would always like demonize Jesus, like, how can you say that you're the prophet? You're not Abraham, and he died, and you say that you cannot die. And Jesus is saying, like, to the Pharisees, and that you would never know because you're not in love. I'm telling you the truth, and I'd be a liar like you if I was to say that I am. I'm speaking the word of God. So they hated that. So the Bible is all about the truth. This is what we're told. It's obviously being translated in English. But if you're not in God's space and you're not in creation, unless just take Saudi on your own, they don't learn, they don't grow. And what happened is they have the money. They would pay and they would make slaves do their work for them. So over time, people have broken away, they've gone traveling, they've gone into set up new communities, but all these places around the world at one point would have just been nature. And these explorers, these travelers go to a place, they do the recce and stuff, and they would set up a new place. And this is where you see all these amazing buildings. A great way and a great example is the World Fairs, to see how they used to go up in like a week, like ways that we can't still explain now in the 1800s. And then they take it down again, almost to kind of show, look what we can do. So if you keep going in a spiral, like a Christmas tree, Christ at the top, Israel. We went up there around 1945, stuck one on there. And then obviously the Rothschilds, they took that on as the Zionists and stuff as well. So I want you to try to keep this picture in your mind. This war and the movie and everything we're being shown and the replacing and stuff is not really for us, even though we're getting stuck in it, it's for them. So think of the desert people as the Saudis. They don't do anything. They would always get other people to build their stuff for them and keep them as slaves. And they would make them create and stuff. And also, when people go off, they would then be able to pay. The paedophilia comes from them, the sacrifice comes from them, the beheading, the stoning. It's always come from them. So this model has been kept. It's a system. This is how you do it. You infiltrate religion. You get your preachers and your messengers to say it from a negative place, and then Islam gets created as well, or the Muslim indoctrination gets created too. So as times sped up, let's think of these shanty towns, and they don't develop much at all. And if you look, then go all the way down to where we are now, the Five Eyes countries, the technology is so enhanced. Who's made that? The internet. They wouldn't have a clue what the internet was. Cars, they get imported. Everything is always created by someone else first. And they wouldn't know it all, but they've always benefited from having so much money. They can pay anything. So now it makes sense when we keep seeing this system, I keep saying the deep state system, we know that the Saudis are the head of the snake because Donald Trump made a big scene when he went there first. They had planned this whole operation to get Obama in. Obama would then infiltrate from within, and this is what they've done over lands over time. And when we hear about the immigrants now in our countries, there's communities that have been set up for a long time with this in mind. And Tommy Robinson's been a big person to expose a lot of the stuff that goes on in the UK. And it is awful when you start seeing like the bigger picture. So all these systems have already been used back then, but that was in the physical. That was before technology. That was before cars and travel. They managed to be able to do it in a small location and they become kings, but they're king of the land. They owned everything, controlled everything. So kind of have that in your mind. If you then go into like the Jesus time and then when the Romans come, and if you look at the Roman Empire and you see that the Romans actually conquered a lot of land in countries like Egypt and went through to Europe and stuff as well. And they were all about taxing all the locals and putting fines in and being aggressive and stuff as well. But if you search, they failed when they tried to take over the South Kingdom. And there was like battles with the Arabs and stuff as well. Also, from money, from finances, in terms of brains behind all of this, they would have been using people like the tax collectors, like Matthew, who used to be a tax collector for the Romans. The Romans would have been the tax collectors for the Muslim faith, the Saudi kingdom up there too. So clever people. So as the lands have gone down, all it is the same system being replicated. You got the Saudis and the Rothschilds, and then Soros, which was the triangle. When Trump went there, that was the main place. And I'm going to then try to now fast forward to show you how I feel that all of the presidencies, that all the names that we've been told, we're watching the biggest movie ever. So the Bush family, the Clintons, the Obamas, I feel, and this is still open for discussion and it has to be open. There's a few different scenarios going on in my head. But game theory is we take them out and replace them and play the character still. And for us, we're like, well, how would they get away with it? This is so advanced to even think about putting a mask on. We now make sense. Oh, they do that in the movies. They do all that. But if we went back up to the top, they wouldn't have movies. They wouldn't have Hollywood. They wouldn't have creation to put designs and masks on. They wouldn't be able to think like that. So when they pay for people to do, and that's all they do is they pay for people to do their work. They pay loads of money to get all the best stuff, all the best houses, and then they come and take all over other lands. Money, 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 money. So if they pay, which in this case, they paid for Obama to go to education at Harvard, Huma, which was the Muslim Harvard alumni. And the whole plan was for him to get in as president and to take over. If the military are watching this all the way through, which they have been, then let's use logic again. So the military know what this is going on because history repeats itself. Every time there's new land, at some point, these people will come down. At some point, there will be armies. There'll be people with weapons. There'll be, and that's been the way it's always ever gone. And people are very easy to corrupt when you can give them opportunities. You hold them for blackmail. You can fund them however you want to. So that's always been happening. But imagine if Obama did come in and straight away the military watches, any move that he makes, he'd get taken out. And you think, imagine if not many people would meet Obama in person. This is just one example. But if you just took him out and replaced him straight away, the Saudis would never know. Because it's not like they replace people and not know anything about them. Remember the technology we have, and think about the timelines. 87, the internet come on. And then you get 20 years later, the mobile phone starts popping up more. And now it's a mobile phone, which is a computer and your whole life in it in your pocket. So in this time, we're tracking everyone. So we keep thinking they're tracking just the deep state and the criminals that are in our country. They've been tracking them more than anything else. But they wouldn't know what antivirus is, and you would have to sell them everything. You'd have to tell them everything. You'd have to give them instructions for everything. And because they're always used to being in control, they wouldn't even know how to think of what things they can do unless they get told. So if you replace someone that they've been funding for ages, they're not coming over all the time. The conversations would have been tracked. The emails would have been tracked. Quantum, I'm pretty convinced, if we go back and watch Oppenheimer, they were already working on quantum mechanics back then. So the ways of recording all that and finding out data, and they would have had everything. Go back to Fear City, and they did it on the big boss families. They knew everything about them. 24-hour surveillance. That was no technology. That worked then. We took down the mob. Then we bring it into today's world. Technology, you're taking them all down. And remember, they would have to be communicating with people in different lands. We need you to do this. That Al Waleed's big shares in Fox News, big shares in Twitter. And this is where it becomes a security breach in national security, because they were the ones who had access to spying on people. They were killing people in their own countries for speaking out, whistleblowers and stuff. So when I said we're watching one big movie, and if you really think about a military perspective, knowing that wherever there is power position, wherever there is money, wherever there is fame, these evil people want their hands on it. They want to do all they can to stop people rising up to the top and take over, take control. So anywhere in power, politics, in governments, in the TV industry, people want to influence. So going back to JFK's dad in the 20s, set up a Hollywood company called RKO Productions. If we go beyond the movies, and they're doing this as a way to connect the world with a message, with stories, with putting ideas and inspiring people's minds. And then like in the Reagan days, you have all the different Star Wars and Star Treks and all these different things that it's fantasy, but it's also helping us be able to understand more things about our inner body and how the way the world works now. All the different technologies that they had then, it's going to make a lot more sense now, like med beds, like Google glasses, like the iPhone, like teleportation, like food generators. Like all this stuff has been in the films for ages. But the Saudis wouldn't have that. They wouldn't have Hollywood. They wouldn't have any of that awareness. They wouldn't know any of that. So when Hollywood starts taking place and you've got fancy dress, do you see Saudis going in fancy dress, going on a stag do, wearing a Spice Girls outfit with their mates? Like that doesn't happen. To even wear a wig, you'd get your legs cut off. So over in the West, we're starting to understand it, but movies, you sit and watch a movie, you get emotional, and then and that's over time. But think of it outside of the movie, they're creating a narrative for them, because they know that them are going to come and try to influence at some point all the high positions. So renegade and Obama, it says renegade, a traitor to his or her own country. And the second bit was comma organization. I'm convinced that renegade has a double meaning too. So the initial plan, fund Obama, come and infiltrate. So yeah, he's going to be a traitor to the US. But if we'd taken him over and played the role of Obama all the way through since, then it's a traitor to them. Because think about Obama bombed a lot of the countries out there. Supposedly, loads of bombs dropped on there. So when I say game theory and I said the Lynn Wood account, we take over, we use those characters. When you look at what Saudi's influence was on governments, sex crimes, oil, they controlled the government leaders. So how blackmail works, if you look at politics, all the people that make the decision making for the people, UK Parliament, and all the politicians, a lot of them have a bit of history with sexual abuse, paedophilia, and there's all different evidence that they can use against them. So it makes sense now. And Tony Blair, there's a lot of stuff to say that he actually was done for something like that, for going in the girl's toilet and groping a girl, and he had to change his name, but he then becomes prime minister. So they have all these dirtbags becoming politicians. It's almost like they've been selected and they've most probably been reached out to. Look, we can help you get out of this and forget it all, and people would never know, but you're now going to be a politician and you're going to do everything we say, but we need you to make the decisions. We need you to go on camera, but they're always going to be controlled like that. So you can start searching people like David Cameron and look at his relationship with the Saudis. You can go back to the royal family with Prince Charles or King Charles and the Al Walid. And then if you then look at the Rothschilds as the banks of the world, they were doing exactly the same. They're funded. They then go and set up. They all then lend money to the Holy City of the Vatican. They'll go and fund all the education. They're doing exactly the same, but it's mirrored. But we would have been watching all of this. So there's a movie going on throughout life to distract them. And over time, they're just used to paying. They're used to getting what they want. They're used to getting the updates. They're used to getting now the new technology, the flashes cars. They entice people with money to come over to those worlds. But without the places like Dubai, UAE, and all these crazy towns that would have been created by the West, they wouldn't have had the opportunities to do that. So it's evolved. It's always been created with us doing it for them, with this in mind for this time. So they then had Huma Aberdeen, which was the Hillary Clinton's person. So when we look at Hillary being bad, it's Huma. Huma was the one that was controlling things. She is from the Muslim Brotherhood. She was the one that was infiltrating. Hillary Clinton, Obama, all part of it. We've heard they set up ISIS, but I feel that they were already taken out and we set up ISIS. So you can imagine the Saudis going, oh, we're president now. God, we can now use the fake news. Look, now we put a bomb. Now we're making money. Now we're taking the opium. They're getting all these instructions, but they would never know. And on top of that, look, we've just taken out the people in Benghazi. On top of it, we're creating the narratives. None of us can confirm it. None of them can confirm it, but the military can confirm it. So can you see where I'm kind of going with that? So if we go through the years of the president, and even things like going to the moon is such a stupid idea, but at the time no one had TV, no one knew what space travel was. That was, oh, the criminals would get away with it. But at the same time, these people in the other country, they've just been sold the idea. We're telling the world that they're going to go on this ship up to there, and they believed it, and they're just stupid people. They're not even able to see it. So you're just feeding them anything, but you're showing them proof. Look, there's the newspaper article. There's the headline to say, look, we bombed here. There's this one. So they're getting one thing, but they're relying on other people, other information. So this intel and this information, there would have been interception. So where this started coming from was the CIA. It's a job for life. Like it's all about truth. It's a dedication for your country. And CIA is the Central Intelligence Agency that operate in all the countries around the world. They've infiltrated every gang, every drug cartel, everything. So we say they're bad because they did all the. No, they've been assisting all the way, and they've made out to be bad. But now they're in control of these operations at the very top. So if you look at then Harry Truman and look at the Truman Show, and have a look at he set up the NSA, he set up the CIA, he set up NATO, he was the one that did the Antarctic Treaty, he was the one that recognized Israel. It was all Harry Truman. So this is military, military, military. But we get then to Reagan. Ronald Reagan was an actor. You only can be a president as an actor. You only can be that, or a military leader. And they were saying that at Reagan's time. And then you had the Cold War and Gorbachev. And we're getting told now another narrative. There's submarine fighting. There's all this. But if you look at the film Red October, at the very start, it said none of it actually happened. So if you're now feeding back again to the Saudis, look, now we've got a conflict going on with Russia and America. We're taking money on the weapons. We're making money on the drugs. We've got all these different deals going on. They're still feeding it. So from their perspective, it looks like it's happening. So if you then start going into the Reagan time, and this is where it started clicking. So I've never trusted Bush Senior, or George Bush, or Jeb Bush, or the Bushes. The woman definitely is a geezer, the mum. I feel like they've already been taken out. And I say that because the CIA are so clever. And if you go and look at the way that the lady used to make masks for the CIA, and she went in the room with George Bush Sr. and he didn't even recognize her when she was doing a pitch. Then go and look at Reagan's years. So Reagan was president, and George Bush Sr., who was CIA director when JFK died, we know that that was all staged too. So the narrative in the West, we're saying that he's corrupt. But if he did something bad to JFK back then, he would have been taken out and replaced. Something's telling me that there's more to it here as well. But this is about stopping this evil in other lands. The Arabs, the Islam, the Muslims that hate on God's children. So they've created this plan so long ahead. So any clan in between, which is evil, you can give it to them, they're going to buy into it. And over time, they're going to think it's working. They get more complacent, more powerful. And I was always thinking, how has Reagan, as a president, been able to put up with someone that evil next to him the whole time without looking suspicious at all? Because you would know, without being suspicious at all, or is it a big act? So for 8 years, the CIA are learning how it all works. The CIA are, every part of it, for 8 years. Then Reagan comes out and George Bush comes in. But the story now looks like he's infiltrated. He knows how to do it all. He's the one that took at JFK. All the criminals underneath would just be buying that story because they're all profiting and benefiting from what they're doing. So again, a big system that goes all the way down. So by the time it then gets to Bill Clinton, who, again, his face has changed over the years. He don't look the same. There's a video where it looks like he's got MK Ultra and he's getting his makeup done. Hillary Clinton when she was younger. Imagine taking them out at those times. And I've got a few photos to show with you from the Q posts. So if you controlled all of them from out, like it just looks like bad, 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 bad. Oh, they're bombing all the countries. But if you use these people to bomb other countries that you need to, because we're in a war against evil. And all the countries in the Middle East, a lot of them are from the Muslim world, which is real terror in a lot of these countries. And the press are now putting it out as bad. They're thinking that they're getting, like, all of us are confused, but we can't confirm any of it. So if you can start zooming out a bit more, how do you know that Bush hasn't been replaced? How do you know that Bill Clinton wasn't replaced? If they created crime and I then used Bill Gates, that's not Bill Gates that we've seen over COVID at all. Bill Gates was taken out in 2011, but they used the Bill Gates character to create COVID as a narrative. COVID's controlled by us, all of it. It's a whole military operation. Ever since Trump's been in, all of it's a whole operation. The shadow presidency with Obama. If he created treason, and I did a video this today as well, if you still think that's Obama, if you do think Obama's in the shadows, giving Joe Biden instructions, but he caused treason and did all the worst things possible, you don't trust Trump. He would have been taken out too, straight away. So if you replace him straight away, then all people ever know is that Obama in a mask. So try to think of it like that. But there's now some things telling me that maybe Obama is on in it too. And if we have a great awakening and we're all shouting at all these characters, and a lot of us on those answers are saying Obama's the most evil, Hillary Clinton's the most evil, Soros, Bill Gates is the most evil. We can go through all them, and if we're just paying attention to what we've learned, none of them are about anyway. If they truly are evil and treasonous, they're not about. So the answers, what people are saying, means we're watching a movie. Because if we use our logic again, Trump's in control, commander in chief, they're treasonous. He already took action with the treason people. John McCain was definitely killed because you see his funeral and there was a wrinkly flag there. So all these, we're seeing the signs. So if you take these people out, so this is my first logic here, because I'm still going with their dad. They were taken out first of all, but we used their characters to be able to do the work that we need to around the world, cleaning out evil. So 9/11, if you look at the American phone call for help, 911, 9/11, it was an inside job by us to get out into these countries because there wouldn't have been another way that would have been accepted by the public. But the narrative to the Saudis would have been, look, this is what we're doing. We're going to do a terror attack. We're going to blame it on Afghanistan's and Saudi people. And you're going to see then there'll be a lot of hatred, and then we can do this and we can do that. Problem reaction is a solution. We can control the opium fields. We can go and take the gold. We can do it. Gives us entrance. They're buying into it, but at a higher level, which I've showed you before, the military are able to go into these countries and do operations. It took 20 years. Then Obama's going to say, look, we're going to say we've bombed this place. Look on the news today. And they're going to go, oh my God, they've done that. And the wars have always been fake. They make money through arms. But these people don't have it themselves. So I've gone on quite a bit then without checking all this. Where are we? So tracking everyone with the Bluetooth MAC address, that's in Convid Trip. They capitulated to Trump when Trump got the sword dance indeed, and that's in 2017. So we're going to a few posts today to take you to those events when they took place at that time. And then you can start seeing where all of a sudden all these politicians, around 70% of them, all start having to step down from sexual accusations and offences from that nature. Was all then, because what happened is that the Saudis already controlled them. If we then take over the Saudis, we're in control. We're now telling them, you're working for us, or we're going to show the world what a dirtbag you are. So we have them by the balls. Hugh Hefner and the Playboy mansions and stuff, CIA. We have them by the balls. So this has already worked. Epstein is a honeypot operation. They mirrored what they did with Jimmy Savile. For me, that island was about getting some of these people out of the shadows, drawing people that would sell their soul. Why was Linwood replaced? He's a Luciferian. He's not a good person until he's defended a few paedophiles along the way. And if you can't accept that that's not Linwood, then find me a real video of him in the last 2 years. He posts more about cows and dogs, and people fall for it. And Q also said, so I go with Q all the time on that. Q as in John McAfee, Q's Telegram. Hey, Harry, thanks for the message on TT. You're welcome. I'm not sure. If it's a private message, it wouldn't have been me. I don't message anyone. If COVID is a white hat military operation, is the vaccine really bad? So COVID was about, remember, it's all about evil. And a big evil of this world is the pharmaceutical world, medicines, doctors. That whole world is an easy way. If you're going and doing operations on someone, how do you know what they're doing inside you? How do you know they haven't done a little snip somewhere else? How would you know? Big cancer. It's just money making. It's disgusting. It's mustard gas. It's aggressive fasting. Fasting, you heal. But it's aggressive fasting. It's awful. It's the will of the man or the woman that gets through it all. If people are told they're going to die, they accept it. They die. I work with people. They died on the amount of time that they said they were going to live. They just took that on. It's all lies. Big cancer. So COVID was about drawing that out at the same time, getting the whole world connected for once, all impacted, all kind of shocked. They stopped the Olympics, they stopped the Euros, they stopped all these world events. You couldn't go to the park, you couldn't go to the beach, you couldn't go hiking. All the nonsense, everyone experienced that. So it's the first time the whole world's been impacted, but people got greedy. The corporate world thought we can make money off this. The pharmaceutical world, they thought they can money. So coming onto that vaccine, Donald Trump had that in mind. He had a 2018 executive order on influenza, creating a safe and effective jab with the military. They wasn't ever going to think that Donald Trump would push a vaccine. Agenda 201 or the Event 201, that's done by us. There's no such thing as Bill Gates. But Bill Gates was in the middle funding the BBC, funding these education places, funding all the different stuff, the marketing, because all it's doing is we're drawing out the people that want to do wrong, because you know it's wrong. So what happened was Donald Trump released the Johnson & Johnson. That was the first one to come out ahead of time. And they were shocked, warp speed. They were shocked. Donald Trump also paid 5 other companies to quick track whatever they got. We need to get this out. You guys have told me it's an emergency. Whatever you're working on, can you get it out in time? And then straight away, Johnson & Johnson comes out, and the big farmers were shocked. The Pfizer's, Moderna's, and stuff. They were shocked. So they went against all protocols. The WHO, the CDC, the FDA. They all then all of a sudden think we need to get something out. And that's where the Fauci come on TV. And Fauci was around under the Reagan days too. So again, I feel like he's been replaced. He don't look the same. So they use these characters. Trump sticks him out, but Fauci will now get the blame for it all. COVID's impacted loads of it. So there were jabs that come out which were bad because they rushed it all. But all of a sudden, you can do as much damage limitations and take them all. People get paid ridiculous amount of money, but they mostly encouraged that because people would then use the vaccine. So there's loads of different things we can look into this. That's not really where I wanted to go today, but it's all controlled by us. And you know it's controlled by us because you saw 33 every. The reason why they put the death count on the TV, on the news, which at first you're like, that's crazy, it's stupid. It was to stop people exploiting this worldwide event with lying about numbers and inflating these numbers so people can benefit from all these different solutions and healing and all these different forms and modalities and stuff to stop all that. So now I understand why McCain's daughter really publicly pissed at and McCain, again, it all comes back to the Saudis. Military is the only way, indeed. Your video on TT was what I was referring to. Are you welcome? McAfee backdoor to all the info, indeed. He is brilliant. No real trials. And so now think about it coming forward. So Bush, Clinton, all of a sudden now Clinton's getting all these connections and the Clinton Foundation with Haiti. And then leading up to the Donald Trump thing, she was going to take over Obama's 8 years. And then when she come in, I feel that she was already taking out that pipe because it's all part of the movie. You'll be in jail. All those conversations. So the Saudis still think they're in control because the plan is 16 years, Obama, Hillary. and then we're going to take everyone to the brink of destruction. We're going to keep them locked down. We're going to keep them starving. We're going to get people in fear and desperate for our help. The Saudis were involved with that. So when Donald Trump won, there was panic. And all the money that was being put into the foundations, which was all Saudi funded, Clinton Foundation, the McCain Institute, and the Podesta Group, Fox News, Obama, all the funding come from them. They had to pay them back. Remember the money that they sent to Iran? That was because they promised they were going to win, but they were working for the Saudis. They were the puppets. And I'll show you where Q says their strings have been cut. Where I showed you in my last video, it said Bill was asking for a deal. He's asking for a deal with us, the military, because I was the ex-president and stuff like that. So I feel a lot of this is still a narrative to trick all of us. Does that make sense? What percentage of the US took the jab? I think is irrelevant. I really do. If we're still caught up in the jab, people took the jab, made the decisions. Some people have obviously been damaged by the jab. But if there's a lot of evil, it's an easy way for the military to go, boom, turn it on. I feel that this period was a test for us. And people had a choice. And this is where the truth movement starts forming. Because people sold their soul to the Muslim Brotherhood. And the cover behind the Muslim Brotherhood was Obama and Hillary Clinton. They were working for the whole system. And if you look at all the military involvement out there, a lot of military personnel then did contracting, security work, all for these people, but they would have got paid so much. A lot of the Al Qaeda and stuff were trained by Americans. A lot of the weaponry was from America. So people sold out all the time. But we're watching this all the time as well. Yeah, it makes so sense. I hope so, because if you now start seeing, why would then we talk about the Illuminati and we talk about this and Hollywood? Why are they all told that they're raping kids and they're doing adrenochrome? That's the message that we're sending back to them. Look, everyone up there is doing it. We're in full control of all of this. They just think that they're in control. It's a movie for them. They got no clue. For us, we're trying to go, but that doesn't make sense. Why would someone like Tom Hanks say I'm one? Because the people that give the information to them are just looking at the information like we are, not able to think about it. A lot of people, including myself, lost their jobs. God took care of me. Yeah, but we're all here now. We're on Rumble talking about this stuff. And these are lives where I'm coming up to an hour in this live and you guys are on the call with me. So we've definitely stepped away from it. We're definitely learning about all the stuff that went on. Not what's going on, what went on. So this video, I feel, is an important time because of the Assange thing. So let me just see if I've kind of covered all of that from here. So people sold their soul to Saudis, which is also the Rothschilds, George Soros, all the way down to the Clintons. But if we're in control at the highest of levels, we're monitoring all this. We know we're in control because if you go then to real evil that used to take place within cartel land, in Colombia in the 70s, in Mexico, which was kind of after they did the narcos, it was El Salvador, Panama, all these drug runs and stuff, we've been clearing out as we go along. You can go and look at US military bases in South America, and it'll confirm that we're in full control. There's so many bases all over South America. US military, US Navy. Search it. Also, every time DJ Tay talked about the jab, he also mentioned ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, I've done a video on that as well, where he said no to mandates. He said go back to work. He said I had COVID and then I took hydroxychloroquine. I was better in 3 days. Kids shouldn't wear masks. Kids shouldn't get jabs. It's a 99% survival rate. He said all of that. There's also the light therapy, which they called the bleach, and the media went, it's light therapy. I honestly think all of us knew the government was bad, but COVID blew their cover wide open if you were paying attention. Indeed. So it's all about exposing it. But what it also did is the gatekeepers of information, which should have been the information people, or the people sharing the information for the system, Sauds, all of the things that go on. It's a whole traffic in place. Remember, drugs have got to go to those countries, drugs have got to come out. Logistic wise, there's people doing all that. So if they got a nice little pay packet and that's their job, you could be a driver. You're not hurting anyone, you're not killing anyone, you're not stealing from anyone, but you're delivering a shitload of drugs every single day for your whole life. And those drugs are killing 500 people in a lifetime per person that you do that, you're still part of the system. So things like that is the system coming down. It's all the people involved at every level. But if you can now see that when Donald Trump come in and the Saudis then started getting arrested, straight after that, all the sex accusations for the US politicians, I'll show you the post that confirm it all. But then you can start seeing the Huma involvement with Hillary Clinton and the emails on the server and her relationship with her brother and the messages they used to send each other. They knew what they were doing. And also prisons. Prison is a way that they get people from the system. Once you're in prison, it's like, unless you go in solitary, you're going to get corrupted in there. You have to sell out. Otherwise, you get raped and be a little booty boy in the cells and stuff. So your place and time in there is all about education to become a criminal. And you're working out ways of how you can con the system or how you can integrate in the system, how you can infiltrate different areas and stuff. Go and watch Prison Break and watch how they all work together and plan escape in prison. Everyone has their roles. And I interviewed someone 2 years ago who was in prison over 3 years, 5 prisons, and he told me one time where he had a massive role of getting loads of stuff in. And he explained how the whole prison worked together. There'd be a fight over there to get the guards, and there'd be another fight over there, and the guards go. To give enough time to get out to take the trolley and put the equipment in, and they'd get everything smuggled in, and the whole prison all celebrated. I feel that's also a way to show people this is how it works in the real world too. Everyone has their role. Everyone doesn't ask questions. They just do what they need to. They stay in their place. They stay in their lane. And when we need you, we'll work together to do whatever we need to. Spying, intel, data collection. It's huge. Is ivermectin heard on the podcast? It was. I've never taken it. I don't think them questions are necessary. Meditation is your medication. Work on that. I never took anything, just stopped eating meat and started eating plenty of fruit and got plenty of sunshine and never felt better. Change that word never. Never is a past tense. You're feeling the best you ever have. I was thinking about the people who installed the 5G towers during lockdown and if they knew why it was being done. 5G, again, look at the infrastructure, look at the cleverness in that, the way that it was all just put up. They used the government to blame, and then we blame censorship that they're hiding 5G from us and we can't talk about it. It's a weapon. It's a way to connect the whole world together. You need the whole world locked down. An excuse to put it up. They went up everywhere. This is how they control the weather now. This is how they can control using it as a weapon through energy. Trump had them change 5G. We are okay. Yeah. Again, these are things that we've been told. I feel that we were in control the whole time anyway. It's the people, the gatekeepers are telling you 5G is bad. The same people that tell you Bluetooth's bad. They're telling you that because it's enhancing our abilities. They're telling you AI is so dangerous because they know it's coming for them. They've always known that at some point they're getting taken over. So I feel that they've used like the Bush family to do the 9/11s, to do the weapons of mass destruction. And we said we found no weapons of mass destruction when we went out to those countries. Yet we were still in those countries fighting terrorism. So you can see there's one narrative and then there's many other things that go behind. Yeah, my bad. Felt the best ever. Just little changes, never always. There's a difference, a big, powerful one when we say it all. So let me share the screen because I'm waffling on a bit. I'm hoping that kind of makes a lot more sense. If you can go back and come forward, this whole movie, like President, they're the highest positions. So if you can control them, still playing the character, everyone underneath, you want to meet Obama, you want to be in groups. So you're sending emails and stuff, but you're just exposing yourself. And then if you're like, yeah, we'll do that with you, you get it all. And then they get paid, they get reward, they get their mates in, they get their mates in. And at the same time, we're then starting to catch people. We don't know what arrests actually really take place because we're not looking. So when I said about the evil stuff as well, and I asked people, go and do a search, there is arrest all the time. It's magical. You see it. Type in arrest gangs and just keep scrolling on the news, and you'll see there's gangs all over the world just being arrested, drugs confiscated, guns confiscated. And what I'm seeing now, which was quite cool, is investigations that were 32 years ago now being solved. People are being arrested for killing 16 years ago. Everything that's ever happened will be revealed. All truths will be revealed. So technology can take us back so far. And if you then being able to monitor all this stuff and start using quantum and the capabilities to even use energy and get the information from that. This is why I feel that they spray the skies too. This is how I feel the Q plan has been created. It's a God thing. Turn off these shitty podcasters. Harry is truthful. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Again, I even avoid calling them shitty. Like some you can see, unless you're not paying attention, it's draining. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anger. I also encourage people still watch some of the stuff because you'll see it still from your perspective now. Just watch the fear. Watch the way that they're unable to answer certain things. Watch the way that they deflect you from certain topics. Watch the way where they brush over things like you. Notice how anything that challenges their narrative, like the Tom Hanks, the Ellen DeGeneres, the Freemason, they don't want to talk about it and they won't even go, that's wrong, that's what, because they won't do that. And now they're turning on each other because they've got nothing else to talk about. How have you seen JFK Jr. on TT? I honestly believe it's him. No, no, he won't be on there. I don't know what page that is, but yeah, I don't even believe that JFK Jr. was his real name too. Again, it's all a movie. Apparently, there's been 4 Trumps. Even his daughters, there's lookalikes. So we really don't know all this stuff, but we're being shown certain things to pay attention to, like the Q posts. So to look at all these different things like JFK, we still have to use what we can. What my put out to everyone is to still be open for even more, because I really feel that there's going to be even more twists and turns. And I think what a great way that everyone that we've been shown at the very top levels have all been part of it. And even the people that we're hating on, it's not even them anymore, that they've been taken out and replaced. The Hollywood actors and Hollywood itself, just use Hollywood. Hollywood shows us the truth. So many people said Hollywood on the evil. They're not evil. The films are evil because they're using evil as the motivation, inspiration to put it out to us. So again, it's trying to zoom out and it's trying to look at the bigger perspective. When will Trump be back in your opinion? He is back in. I don't understand what that question. He is in. He's in full control. Look how chilled he is. That's not Biden. It's not about politics. He's already in. Trump is well insulated, yeah. But again, we're watching a movie. Those sort of questions are for the movie. It's already taken place. All you have to do is look how calm he is. Considering we're going to war, everything's getting terrible. The world's breaking down and yeah. Love the breadcrumbs DJT communicates to people. Indeed. Let me share the screen. I know when I share the screen on when I share the screen on a live, you can't see as much here. So this is the second Q post, the second one. Mockingbird. If you find out what Mockingbird, it was a CIA operation to lie. So Mockingbird, Hillary Clinton detained, not arrested yet. Where is Huma? Follow Huma. This has nothing to do with Russia yet. Why does President Trump surround himself with generals? What is military intelligence? Why go around the three-letter agencies? What Supreme Court case allows for the use of military versus congressional assembled and approved agencies? Who has ultimate authority over branches of the military without approval conditions unless 90 plus in wartime conditions? What is military code? Where is AW being held? Why? Trump will not go on TV to address the nation. Trump must isolate himself to prevent negative optics. Trump knew removing criminal rogue elements as the first step was essential to free and pass the legislation. So that's when he sacked all the FBI people. That's where he sacked a lot of these people in Congress, because they were the ones that would have stopped a lot of this stuff. Who has access to everything classified? Do you believe Hillary Clinton, Soros, Obama, etc., have more power than Trump? That's a fantasy. Who controls the office of the presidency controls this great land. So this is why I say every person that's been in president, the story is their corrupt presidencies and they're continuing it all. But remember, corruption is always underneath them. The people doing the work for them, the people that are making the deals within corporates and tampering the food and that. But at the same time, things are being done about it. We're just not being shown. Neither are the criminals, which is another post I'll show today. They never believed for a moment they, as in Democrats and Republicans, would lose control. This is not a Republican versus Democrat battle. Why did Soros donate all of his money recently? Why would he place all of his funds in an RC? Look, Mockingbird, 10/30/17. So it's October 2017. And all these first posts are with Huma in it, Huma. And I'm going to show you the post where it all started going Huma, 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 and you would have seen all the arrests taking place in Saudi Arabia. So that's where people started realizing, shit, this is real. So Huma, husband in jail. That's the laptop from hell. That's Anthony Weiner. Trump in 2012 talked about Wienergate. Hillary Clinton, Muslim Brotherhood or child. What would you do? Kiss your child goodbye and leave without a mother or father for the Clintons? Where is Huma today? So Huma was the one from the Muslim Brotherhood, and there was lots of investigations about her where they went quiet. And in one of the things under oath, it was John McCain that gave the reference to say, yeah, no, it's all legit. It's all fine. So he's such a traitor. So look, follow Huma. What broke with Huma? What did Hillary Clinton instruct Huma to do? Classified markings. Why is this story just coming out now? What relevance does it have? Why is Donna running for cover? Donna was a woman that I searched up that wrote this really nice article on Hillary Clinton and what a woman she was. Why is this being leaked? Very simply, prosecuted privately. Let me just come up anymore. So this one here, look. The Clinton campaign is attempting once again to sweep the important questions under the rug about a top aide, Huma Abedin, her family ties to the Muslim Brotherhood and Saudi Arabia, and a role in the ballooning Clinton email scandal. Her mother, Salah Abedin, sits on the Presidency Staff Council of the International Islamic Council of Dawah and Relief, a group that is chaired by the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Perhaps recognize such how offensive ties will be to the voters concerned over future terrorist attacks on this country by radical Muslims professing allegiance to the Sharia law. The Clinton campaign on Monday tried to downplay this. Miss Aberdeen's involvement in the Journal and the Muslim Brotherhood. The Clinton surrogate group, Media Matters, which again we saw massively in 2016 where the fact-checking and stuff started, claimed predictably that there were no evidence that Miss Aberdeen and her family had ties with the Muslim Brotherhood, and that the Trump campaign staffers who spoke of the ties were conspiracy theories. To debunk evidence, Media Matters pointed to a Snopes.com fact check piece and cited as the sole source Senator John McCain. This is the same John McCain who met with Libyan military leader Akabien Belhaj, a known Al Qaeda associate, and saluted him as a hero during 2011 visit to Benghazi. So you can start seeing where all these people come in. And there was a woman in 2012, I can read this one out here, Michelle Bachmann, when she had four members of the House Permanent Select Committee of Intelligence and the House Judiciary Committee cited that Miss Aberdeen, in letters sent to the Inspectors General of the Department of Defense, the Department of State, Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, and the Office Director of National Intelligence, warning about the Muslim Brotherhood infiltration of the United States government. Why is this relevant? Who took an undisclosed trip to Saudi Arabia? What was the purpose of a face-to-face versus a phone call? Alice in Wonderland. So this was the one here, and this is where this was the day that all the rest started taking place in Saudi Arabia, which is unheard of. So look, what data just dropped? Why is this relevant? Huma. Where is Huma? Who is Huma connected to? What organization? What is Huma's family history? How did Huma meet Hillary Clinton? How did Hillary Clinton say about Huma that demonstrates how close they are? Why are all the D's dropping Hillary Clinton all of a sudden? Were deals made with select Democrats? Look, can we expose every crooked politician? And Q says 70%. Huma, follow Huma, Alice in Wonderland. So you can start seeing all of a sudden they're now panicking, and these are now being put to us on the day it's happening. Most of us didn't know about this then. So all of it has happened. Q's told us it all. I don't want to go on to too much, but I just want to show you this one here. Look. If she's not, I think they're gunning for her. How can she repay the money sent to the Clinton Foundation for influence? Do they have Huma? Review my other threads. This is why complete graphics are so important. Look, Barack Obama paid the debt prior to leaving office. Hillary Clinton is not currently in Saudi Arabia. Bill wants a deal playing the former president card. Watch the cookie crumble. Where does Soros fit in? So you can imagine now all of a sudden they're cutting it. So where are we? We'll get a few more. This is the hardest thing for me doing live because when I record it all, it goes straight to the post. So bear with me. Let me come back onto the chat just to. We don't know shit. I just want the truth. Feel so deceived. You're not though, because you're on this call. We've all been deceived. Life has been a lie. We've all gone through that. Why did the military stop in 2014, Obama being yanked out of office? So, Harry, some of these movies go back many years. What if this started way before Trump and these people were mostly placed to be actors, as well as this has been going on for many years within the world? Yeah, this goes back. I said that JFK's dad, this goes back to the Constitution, 1776, George Washington, 10-star general, commander in chief, the Freemasons. This has all been about removing evil. So this plan, and when people say, "Oh, Albert Pike, he said about 3 world wars," and it's our plan. All of it's our plan. So if you give a plan to a criminal, which always is the case, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do the bank robbery. This is how we're going to do. There's still a plan in place. Yeah, we're going to do it. And if it works the first time, then they're bought in. And it works for 10 years and they're making millions, they're bought in, and more people are easy to corrupt. Our history is so comprised, they are all corrupt. Yeah. And again, I now look at it that it's always been controlled by us. So you use these government people to ban certain things, but by them doing it, it also affects the criminals. The criminals are the ones that control the politicians, and it's the blackmail that they can get them on. So it would be the cartel, it would be the muscle, it would be the mafia. They controlled it all, or control certain individuals. I'll reword my question. When will we be shown what's been going on? We are being shown what's going on. We are being shown that we have. You want to be told what is going on by the news or someone. That's what we have to snap out of. We can go and look, but most people don't want to. Q have showed us what's going on. Everything Q says has already happened. McCain traitor, lovers, jinx, Hillary is dead or a doornail. Grammy very soon, prayer manifest. Wow, mind blowing. Exactly a smile on the candid camera. Right, so let's come back to the screen share. 200 people on, so welcome people if you're just joining. I don't want to make these long because the people never ever watch them after, unless I break them down. So I'm going to just do a few more. So look, how is our lead and Barack Obama tied to Huma? What is Huma? Define. What book was Barack Obama caught reading? Why was this immediately disregarded as false? He was reading the Quran. Why does the President of the United States be reading this book? What church did Barack Obama attend for before Trump? Who was his mentor? How is our lead and Hillary Clinton connected? Who is Hillary Clinton's mentor? How is our lead and Bush Senior, Junior connected? What occurred 9/11? And this is why I feel that we were in control of Bush Junior and Senior. They're still doing relationships with the Bushes, but I've really got a suspicion that we've already taken over those controls. This is all about deceiving them. So over a few generations, they think they're in full control because they're paying and funding it all. I'd like to get your take on it because it makes so much sense because they haven't got a clue about how any of this stuff works, and because they don't create, because they're not in a love space and they never have been, they would never know. They would never know. They wouldn't understand. It has to be told to them. Yeah, who is the financial backing for human trafficking? So look at Huma. In the word Huma, or human trafficking is Huma. Humanity is Huma. Humankind is Huma. So when you type in Huma and it says follow Huma, there's a lot of other posts there as well. Huma the university. Right, let me go to this one here as well. And this is where this post kind of inspired me to do it. So Patriots Don't Sleep. It's a 40,000 foot necessary to understand the US, Saudi Arabia, and global events. Paint the picture. A decreased altitude will not fly that high again. Higher the altitude, the greater risk of a conspiracy. Many cannot and will not swallow. So when I keep saying, look, can you understand? Try to understand. It may sound crazy, but the higher up you go, and the 40,000 foot makes sense to me too. That's how high the land is, all the way up to Israel. If you look at the average height for flights, it's 33,000 feet. If you look at the highest mountain, it's around 33,000 feet. We got 33. So I think all of this stuff is all linked. So let me come on to this. What is NSA? Q Group. Who has clearance to the full picture? Important. Look, SIS is good. Admiral Rogers. What agency is war with clowns in America? CIA. What does Trump shift the narrative? Look, new age of enlightenment. 80% of this is covert. So when we think we know because we're doing the research, look, only 20% is public. So when the news drops something, that's when it unlocks more for us. So when people go in, I've been following Q from day one, which is such a lie when people do say that. I've been following Q from day one. I knew it was all right and stuff as well. I always ask them the question, well, how did you react to Trump losing the election in 2020? Because Q doesn't give you any indication of that at all. And they're like, yeah, I knew it was all part of the plan. We had to expose Biden, but you didn't know. You're just saying it. So we don't know a lot of stuff. And this is, again, why I'm open to a few things. I'm going to show you one photo where it got my brain going as well. So what has occurred over the last several months? The CNN sale, operations, think Saudi Arabia, plus, question mark. What companies record large cash injections by CIA? Public. Why? Who does it hurt? Who does it hurt? So the CIA are now investing into certain things. It means we're in control of stuff. Look at the Facebook shares as well. Who controls the MSN? Mainstream media. We do. Military do. It's in the war manual. Look at it. Primary object, and when you see all the same news stations all reading the same script, that's for us. We have to keep people distracted from the real war, which was my point on the last one. We don't know what evil is. Most of us are saying Tom Hanks and Taylor Swift are the most evil people in the world. It's stupid. It's just stupid, but it's so good that we've all gone with it. And we get so angry over it. And we're on Twitter, and again, this is another important. We're on Twitter going, ah, yeah, at them. When I called out one person in the truth movement, that one person was involved with someone turning up my place in the middle of nowhere. That one person and many other people in a community were involved with setting me up to get shot because I were calling them out. So if all of us were doing it, were clueless, calling out all these gangsters, that would be dangerous. So it has to be like that. So when we come back and snap out of it, we're going to get kids in the future generations are going to be going, Mum, Dad, you wore a mask. You took all that stuff. There was no research. 99%. Why did you do that? But also, what you thought he was bad. How? And when we explain it all, it'd be stupid. Let me come back onto it. But why is this relevant? Primary objective from the beginning for President Trump to discredit mainstream media. Fake news, fake news, fake news. We're in control of it. We are now the fake news by putting out fake narratives from different perspectives, going after Trump. Yes, there was a lot of journalists that sold out, being funded by the Saudis. There's a lot of people within Fox, CNN that were corrupt because there's corruption everywhere. But we would have been watching. Why is this relevant? How is information transmitted? Think about how we all learn. Think about how we've been indoctrinated by information, the news. Think they didn't have that. They don't have that stuff. It's only after they adapt it all. So why was Operation Mockingbird repeated? Why was Jason Bourne's CIA dream repeated? Think social media platforms. Who are the wizards and warlocks? NSA. What council do the wizards and warlocks control? Think Snowden. Inside term. Alice in Wonderland is understood. That's Hillary Clinton in Saudi Arabia. Snow White, which is Edward Snowden. Iron Eagle, Godfather 3. Godfather 3 is Soros. Speed, everything has meaning. Disney is a distraction. The Senate and Congress are puppets. Not all, but there's a power shift. For God and country, for humanity, Geronimo. And then you've got this bit here as well. So list the names in history, investment, ownership stakes, and point-to-point contracts. Al Walid, the Barack Obama Citigroup, US control. Why is this relevant? Look, the House of Saud control, follow the money. What power shift recently occurred? Was a new king appointed? Trump. Coincidence, dark to light. Why is this relevant? Look, one side of the triangle removed for the first time in history. And think how long history is. This is why I say if we go back to the Christ days, it makes a lot more sense then. One side of the triangle, one side's fallen. Saudi, Rothschilds, George Soros. So Huma Abedin has then got this dirtbag, which was John Podesta, which was a paedophile, and all of his certain things. It then brings in Obama, Hillary Clinton, McCain, and how they were all making money through Saudi Arabia, through the foundations. That what was told to North Korea during the past 8 years, they were going to use North Korea. A dramatic shift occurred. North Korea post-election when Trump come in, define hostage, the sum of all fears. Why are all sexual harassment claims all of a sudden appearing? Because we're now in control. What is a pill? When is it hard to swallow? How do you remove your enemies from positions of influence and authority? Define stages, define puppets, define puppet handlers, define proxy war, proxy war, proxy war. Expand your thinking. Why is the justice stalling the release of the classified level information? Think about it. Does Trump control all matters classified? Yes. Think, have faith. These people are losers. So he's telling us all this time, all about what they were doing with the Muslim Brotherhood. It all comes back to that in Islam. And this is why we're seeing the infiltration in our communities and being pushed so much. But there's a lot of people that are unwilling to speak about that because they sold out to it. The prison part too well. Look how much Saudi invested in prisons. And I knew a lot of people that had been in prison, and a lot of them all read the Quran when they come out. A lot of them converted when they come out. Tommy Robinson, when he read it in there, he learned how bad it was, and then he started being outspoken. But they all seem to read it in prison. System, system. You can think about the money on there as well. Right, I had other pages open as well, just to show you a few more. So I typed in Assange, and there was a post where Donald Trump. This was after the 2016 election, and Donald Trump congratulates Doug Jones on a hard-fought victory. The write-in votes played a very big factor, but a win is a win. The people of Alabama are great, and the Republicans will have another shot at the seat in a very short period of time. It never ends. And then Julian Assange comes out and says, I wonder how many dead people and illegal aliens voted for Doug Jones. And Q says, why must it be isolated and away from the 2016 election? Have faith these people are stupid, because they couldn't have any other way to blame the fact that Trump had won. So they kept it separate. But then after talking about dead people voting, we saw that in 2022. Where are we? Look, so this was the one as well. So smile from Julian Assange, and it says, what recent news came out of SRJA and WL lawsuit is back in the news. The server brings down the house. He's got his court case tomorrow. All the emails is that server. All the emails, Aberdeen, Podesta, Clinton. It's at the very top. It's at the very top. Assange is being held for us for a reason, and there's a few on Assange, so I just want to do a few. But it was this one here. So I think I've got it open. I'll just click it again. But it was page 20 it said to go to, and it was the very last one. And these are, look, there's emails from Huma Aberdeen and stuff. It was this one here on Assange arrest. And these are all declassified in the end. So look, from Marty Tory. Hi, H, Hillary Clinton. Been waiting to hear this great news. He must have made your life miserable. Simply a bad guy. So tired of people who try to damage the US while the US does so much for others. Where is the justice and the common sense these days? Hope all the current world madness somehow gives you time to prepare for Christmas and enjoy these simple things. Took, blanked out, to pick out a Christmas tree last weekend. If there is a better stuff than that, I don't know what is. Anyway, hope the WikiLeaker gets what is coming to him. Happy Christmas, peeps. So they're all laughing because they think that they're in control of Assange. But then they panic when all the other revelations started coming out. So let me just do one more on here. So the DNC servers, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, if you watch the Snowden film, was the bit of software where they could literally go and get information on anyone. Did Russia break into the DNC servers, which is what they said? Why did the FBI, which was James Comey, accept indirect evidence regarding the Democrat servers hack break-in by CrowdStrike? Think Ukraine. Why didn't FBI directly investigate the servers in hand? And then how does one provide content to the WL comp to comp, person to person? And it says the source is feed a recipient. Interning for the DNC can be deadly. Does CrowdStrike possess government capability to track break-in routes? So you'd be able to see who is in control of it. Does CrowdStrike possess the government capability for foreign intercepts? Possible to layer insert code into CrowdStrike to designate intruder. NSA data bridge, bulk data collection. Matters of national security to highest levels. Pfizer is only the beginning. Pfizer was when they've illegally when after Flynn initially and then Trump, that the hole was deep, and there's a photo with James Comey underneath of it, and it says, "Oh Lordy," and it's treason with a bomb on there. That future will prove past, and it's Andrew McCabe and James Comey, which is the FBI people that Trump sacked. So it's all about the server brings down the house and Julian Assange Q. So we've got him in the news tomorrow, going to court. So let me show you the other one that I looked at, which was the Saudi Arabia. So you can see John McCain with the ISIS leaders, our lead with the royal family, our lead with the Iranian dude, or some Saudi with the George Bush family. That's why I feel like they've caught some of these people, because there seems to be these meetings, but they would still never know if they're wearing a mask or not, because they would never be able to plan it all. Like Hillary Clinton with them, King Charles with them, John McCain. So it's the same names. We've got Prince Charles or King Charles, who's now got cancer. We've got this Spygate stuff coming out. We've got Hillary Clinton, obviously, is going to be with the Assange and everything else. What else have we got here? Oh yeah, this is one of the Q posts. That was 72. So this is what I mean. It happened at the time, and look at the excitement of some people. Look, wait. Go back to the post about the families that run everything, and Trump got taken one out. Was one of this the Saud family? Seriously, because that makes this a happening. I remember the phrasing not making sense. I was like, oh, does that mean Donald Trump took out the Clintons? But the Clintons were on the list as Remains, so I don't understand who was taken out. And then Q said, look, very smart, Anon. Disinformation is real, distraction unnecessary. Saudi Arabia is the primary, US is the secondary, then Asia, then Europe. Alice in Wonderland. So Asia and Europe. Ukraine has been going on for some time now. China, we keep hearing about Taiwan, and it kept getting delayed. When we go back to the Great War of China, that for me was stopping these people coming in. When we changed all the different languages, to learn a language, you have to be present. God's space. They're not going to do that, so they need other people then to do it. Or it's kind of breaking away from them so much that they need other people because they're so used to everyone doing stuff for them. There was one more thing that I wanted to show you that was quite important. Oh yes, Saudi Arabia was a priority. So that's important. And here's another thing why I'm starting to even think about the CIA operation in terms of Michael Obama. And when they use the characters to kind of rub it in the face, because the Muslim Brotherhood hates anything to do with trans, gay, anything. And it says in this post here, so first of all, who paid for Obama to go to Harvard Law School? Who is Prince Al-Walid bin Talal? So he was the one who funded all of it. Why would Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, the Saudi royal, pay for Obama to attend Harvard Law School? Was Obama a prominent political figure or personal influence? No. Who is Valerie Jarrett? Where was she born? And then it says, when did Valerie Jarrett hire Michelle O. Robinson in 1991? What's the timeline? So 1991 was the same year we saw Donald Trump with Epstein in Mar-a-Lago. So I'm even now starting to think, have they stuck that idea on them to go, oh, we're going to put a trans there, but that's all controlled by us. It's such a crazy plan. Because then the Saudis that we're paying for Obama going, why have you got a tranny as your vice president, like as your lady, first lady? Again, it's just an idea, but you're rubbing it in their face because they can't really argue about it because they're funding it. Look, Obama should be very nervous. Brennan should be very nervous. Kerry should be very nervous. Merkel should be very nervous, plus 29. How were the pallets of cash divided? How many planes were used to transport? Who operated the plans? What shadow agency directed operations? Why wasn't the money simply wire transferred? US had authorization to open bank-to-bank transfers. How do you prevent the financial records? How were cash withdrawals in Europe categorized as labeled? Where did the cash originate from? What time of the day did the withdrawals occur? Who provided security? Why wasn't Congress notified? Why was the US government kept in the dark? US law broken? Did all planes land in the same location? Why was a helicopter involved? Who did the money go to? How do you audit a foreign aid big block transfer? What agency collects all forms of data? NSA. What agency did Snowden work for originally? CIA. Did he train at the farm? Yes. When did Snowden join the NSA? Define contractor. So he's contracting for the CIA. Define the prison program. What year did Snowden release the specific details of the prison? It was in 2013. Impact limits NSA's ability to utilize and collect. And why that was important, because he then said, look what they can do. And again, to watch the film, it's brilliant. All the Five Eyes countries and all the foreign intelligence were going straight to the NSA asking for data on certain people. And they could just go and spy and learn anything about them, everything, every secret, every relationship, every conversation, everything in a thing. NSA could do that. So by making it going out to the public, it then means that action has to be put in place to make it more secure because of our safety. That's where Mike Admiral Rogers was then drafted in. So come from the Navy and now in charge of the NSA from 2014. So people now can't use NSA, which was the power tool. So fake news pushed Congress aggressional restrictions. Open source push to create counter defense. So the open source now is on the internet of the way that's spying on people. But because it's on the internet, we're now able to monitor it all. This is the people within the truth movement. They saw what was going on. They definitely sold out a lot of people to the Muslim Brotherhood. And they realized that if people actually find out how deep this goes and what they did to sell out, then they won't be able to walk down the street again. So look, it's a blue skies for CIA operation. Because when it's on open source, it doesn't make it a US personnel, which only can be investigated by FBI. When it's on the internet and it involves a worldwide operation, and if people are working for the same system, CIA can now get involved with it. When was the joint plan of Iran deal executed? Late 2013. Do you believe in coincidences? So Iran, Yemen, Syria, Saudi Arabia, and then you start seeing the countries that had now peace with Israel from Trump. So there's loads here. Right, I've got two more Q posts. It was this one. And this one I still don't get. And this is why it's got me kind of questioning the renegade. Is it a double fold? Because it's got Obama and Trump when they're younger. And it says the war is real. It says he fights for you. That could be both of them. He fights for you. We all think Obama's bad, but the world think he's good. We also, so again, I feel like he's been replaced, and the character Obama has been a renegade to expose all of those people. And there's another photo of Trump in the military. He fights for you. So that was quite interesting, and that's just on my mind. Again, I can't confirm that. I don't know enough to even say it can be a no-win, but it's just a concept. And then there was one about the Harvard, which again, I don't really need to go into. Let me just see if I got, this was quite an interesting one. So that why Saudi billionaires are not included in the Forbes rich list. Look, since 2018, Forbes has not included Arabs in the global list. That year, magazine decided to exclude all Saudi Arabian tycoons from its annual list of the world's richest people after the Saudi government detained dozens of top businessmen from oil-rich kingdom in a corruption case in 2017. So they start getting taken down. I was just searching things like the history of the Romans in Arabia. I was thinking, did the Romans work for the Saudis? The Rothschilds had a great relationship with them, and they did loads of different foundation sets up. So trying to connect it all together. So let's come back on. Snowden the movie, yeah, watch that. I've done a really nice connecting the dots on Snowden as well. Have you have not heard about China lately? Yeah, this is what I mean. Our story We're fighting with communist China, and we're fighting with Russia, 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 Russia. I feel the agreements have been with those countries to stop people getting more land. And the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. BRICS is to stop them coming down. Whereas our movement's like, oh, money, 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 gold back this and da da da. For me, it's blocking those countries from getting down. And they're the big countries in those continents. So when the explorers went and settled and created, it would have been those countries first. And all the lands after is like Central America, cartels, CCP. Yeah, there's a lot to it. So Nuremberg 2, I can see that happening for sure. It's really interesting to go and actually look at Nuremberg, not just for COVID, look at it a lot more. And all the doctors, nurses too that administrated poison, is working with us. Yeah, potentially a Dunyan. Again, keep that off of TikTok because you'll get absolutely every brainwashed person is on there. You could be right about Obama. If he was taken out and replaced, infiltration works both ways. I am patient. I don't mind waiting. Andy Woodward now, we don't even need to wait. This is what I keep saying to people. By the fact we're saying, when is it happening? What date? When do you think it? Where is your mind? All the way over there and it hasn't happened yet, and you're out of being here. If we can now accept people that we're up to date with what's going on, which means there's nothing else we can do apart from just research more and be present and connect and stay happy, meditate, keep learning, keep reminding ourselves this is part of a war that we've chosen to go into and to better the world. Keep confirming that to yourself because then you can start accepting what's going to happen today. Oh, Julian Assange needs tomorrow. What's that going to be like? Enjoy each day instead of thinking when, because that when means you're not present. That is, for me, my best bit of advice now, because we're in the Great Awakening. Can you imagine when we go back looking at this moment? We got to a stage where each day we was just working out what's going to happen. We're at that tipping point so much now, with Assange's name in there, with the James Comeys in that, with the Obama going to London. It's not him. It's not him. But we say it's not him. But even if they swap it out, put it in and did it again, for people that think they know, for people that don't know, for people that are in another country, each person's getting a different narrative. Also think about internet and algorithms. How do you know that Saudi Arabia and all those lands are shown anything to do with what's going on? They could be given a completely different thing. We wouldn't know. Do yoga, yeah. Yoga's my one big advice to people. Ego goes off, but your mind has to concentrate. Your body, your mind, and your soul all in perfect union. And also, you'll start feeling the amazing things that your body can do. And guys, you meet the most beautiful women in yoga just by watching how people can move their body. The ratio is ridiculous. And what you realize is how loud you are. You'll realize how uncoordinated you are. Like it's a good lesson. And the reason why guys don't do it is because of ego. Because it's something we're not good at. Something that we can see that most other people are better than us. I encourage it massively for people. What do they always say on Wayne's World movie? Live in the now. Yeah, thank you. Graphics are very powerful. Great time to go within. Perfect time to go within. And people, we're going to need it more and more because it's not just the scare stuff. It's not now the real life stuff. It's also dealing with all people around us. The TikTok one, actually, let me see if I can just go for the comments about the evil one as well, because just to show you, TikTok's just a great way just to show you how people are on a loop. Let's go to it. So I asked people the other day, who is evil? And you'll laugh on here. So it's 32. See what it's on now. It's 30. Oh, look at that for a sign. 33.3. I love this world. So look, 700, no, eight, I got 785 likes, but 856 comments. My TikTok, when you click on it, you see the likes just disappear sometimes. So I've asked who the most evil is, and look how ridiculous some of the answers are. Baron Trump, Hillary, Biden, Tom Hanks. And I just said, pay attention to what you want. So the most evil person in the world is Tom Hanks. Come on, wake up. You are. Obama, Biden, Taylor Swift, human beings, celebrities, Hollywood. Just tell us that look in the mirror, Harry. Always fear God. He's no joke. He will take his hand of protection off you, and you'll never be sorrier than you already are. Joe Biden, who do you think? I always say, go watch my YouTube. Look, government, Hollywood, the media, Beyonce, Hillary Clinton, the Antichrist. He is here. No, I'm not afraid anymore. There's more than one dude. Pope, Kazarian Mafia, writers, Obama, Bill Gates, Hillary, the media, Elon, reptilians, Hollywood, secret societies, Trump, Obama, Bill Gates, Fauci, the media, Elon, reptilians, the government, Rothschilds, Prince William. And then you get people like this. So, did you ever make a point? Who is it? What's the summary of the movie you recommended? Go watch my stuff. Bill Gates, corporations, royal family, Hollywood, Gates, Pepe Orsini, the Grey Pope, our government, them, Rockefeller, doctors, Bill Gates, actors, those who keep hidden, Hollywood, Rockefeller, WEF, Yahoo, Rockefeller, the underground scientists, the three letter agencies. So let's go through a few of these because these are common things. So let's go through the three letter agencies. I asked who's the most evil now? How can they be? Get out your head straight away. How can the three letter agencies be bad? If we just go back to 2017, Trump sacked so many from the FBI, got rid of them all. Sacked James Clapper, sacked John Brennan from the CIA director, got rid of them all. If you trust in Trump, and we saw what he did in 4 years, then how have they gone now evil again? We're in full control. Hollywood, it's Hollywood. They're showing us the truth. So it can't be them. The doctors, some are, but the most evil of the evil of evil. My point was not one person has said any gang people, any people, because we don't know who the evil ones are. They're not celebrities. They're evil and they hide. They don't want to be famous, which is another reason why I think a lot of this is a movie. You'd be exposing yourself, putting yourself out there. And this is where UFC comes in. Why I think and Trump had massive investment in that, because there is a lot of fighters and evil in underground dark worlds. Ego comes with that. So if you create a sport where there's multi-disciplines and people are now making fortunes on it, it's getting the world's attention. Some of these people are coming out of the shadows because they want to show that they are the best fighter. But then you put them out in front and center stage, you give them, and they play the characters. And you see the one person that completely lost it was Colin McGregor. The ego got to him. And there's a lot of dirt. You can see his text messages that come out at one point. But he was so focused. He was manifesting. He was reading shots before they come. And then money, and then all the other stuff. You can see him now. He's desperate for attention. Desperate, but he's lost that ability to fight because it's all about the. So for me, it brings these people. Remember Kimbo? He was famous for YouTube when it came out for all the street fights. He somehow then got into UFC. It's like the natural progress because fighting is a thing. I want to be known the hardest. US government. We're in control of the government. If you think they're evil now, you're watching the movie. We're in full control and you're using those government puppets to show the world the stimulus and the way that they pull the money, the way that they stop the investigations and take ages doing certain things. We're seeing all that now, but we're in control. So who's evil? And then a few people, look, we only see the puppets, not the masters. Pharmaceutical, Rockefellers, Hollywood, Soros, cartels, mafia, banking, things you don't see. Obama, Fauci, Hollywood, the big lie of everything. Who controls the money? Secret societies, Illuminati, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Obama, the Pope, Biden, corporations, Biden. That's not Biden. It's not Biden. So how can he be the most evil? It's not him. Hillary Clinton. She wouldn't be allowed out if she's the, so this is what I mean. We're stuck in the movie for a good thing, if you think about it. Because you're going to get a lot of numpties going on Twitter calling out real criminals and stuff. That would be a dangerous place. But also, if you look at all the answers, all these people, Soros, he'd be taken out. Gates, he was removed 2011. The Pope, is he the most evil? He's still evil, but is he the most evil that's out there? We don't know the most evil. Klaus Schwab, Biden, humans. Just the things that people say. It's the same answers. It's like we don't know anything else. WF, Obama, Bill Gates, Rockefellers, Clintons, Biden, Schwab. Biden, Oprah, Diddy, Clintons. And I do kind of ponder and stuff because you watch American Gangster, Breaking Bad. You see a lot of these films where they do like Hostel. Someone mentioned the other day, like evil, evil, evil. Sticking Oprah and Taylor Swift, and yeah, I'm hoping you can see my point to this though, because I keep scrolling down. It's the same things: Grey Pope, 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 Obama, 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 Biden, Biden, Biden. That we are. What faith do you have if you're saying that we're evil? Like, what a way to live your life. Are you like, we're all evil? Royals, Obama, Oprah, Biden's, all of them. Mr. Burns, aka Jacob Rothschild, but we saw you dead the other day. Bill Gates, Schwab, Hollywood. Again, it's just repeated stuff. Bill Gates, the Pope, King Charles, Hillary, and Obama, our government. These are just people in positions, but there's people pulling their strings. So I'm hoping I've made the point on that. And the reason why this is a psyop, and most people cannot think for themselves, unable to even question a different alternative viewing point, to look at it from a different perspective, unable to do that. Perspective is God. So when we come back to Hollywood, and again, people go watch The Gentleman. A few people reached out and said they went through it all, they loved it, and it was eye-opening. The way Guy Ritchie does it all is through perspective. If you look at Hollywood producers, it's all about perspective. You have to think through the eyes of someone else, and you have to put their story out that people believe into that character, that you're rooting for them all the way through the film, or you're like, oh, I hate them, stop, get out, don't do that. You're screaming at the TV. That is something that's engulfed us in it. That's creation. You look at kids and their computer games. Grand Theft Auto's coming out again. Oh, it's so much violence. No, it's the stories. It's showing you the criminal activities that go on there, and you're actually doing it. But you're then stopping evil. You're then ending crimes. You're getting arrested by the police. Again, it's still education. And above that, God's creation, all the environment, all nature. You go up the mountains, you go on the desert, you're going everywhere. You're going in the plane, you're going under the boat, in the water and stuff. You're seeing the world. Yes, it's on a computer screen. But now if we was to say connect with God, you've got such a big array of God's creation. You might not have gone in there physical, but most of us haven't. We now know about things like Mother Earth, with the guy that people say is evil. What's his name? Who's the main animal guy that's still going at the moment? BBC. I've gone complete blank on it. You'll be able to tell me though. People say he's evil. It's nature that shows us what's going on. That's why he's still going, because he's got a love for it. David, someone's got his name. Right, who we got here then? So, Harry, tomorrow is my wedding anniversary, 36 years. What a number. And congratulations. And I was going to say to you, like, ask questions to each other, like, actually take some time with each other to really get some memories ignited and share the moments that you do remember. And you'll see loads of things will start coming back. So a big shout out to you on that. And people as well, wherever you are, look at the full moon. Like, pay attention to it. And when you're looking at it, don't worry about making sense. Just feel the energy. There's a cold light that goes on you, but know it's illuminating your inner body. It's sending you messages. It's going to help. The moon is the mind. When the sun's up in the sky, the sun sees the whole world. So all the answers are in that light. The moon copies the sun, but it takes it a month to get to a full moon, which is mirroring the sun. At night time, it's quite easy to find the light because it's just shining right at you. There's no other confusion. Take all that information in. Jazzy, you're right. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Reptiles. I know. What about chemtrails? Again, I don't really know why people keep asking that question. What about chemtrails? Attenborough, thank you, Gaz. Tiger, Ikes. Wow, what a perspective. Right, I'm going to call it there anyway, because I just wanted to kind of come on and try to show that the movie is not for us, even though we're still in the movie. A lot of us are kind of breaking through to look a bit higher. You can see from my TikTok one, just on the responses, all the same. No individual unique ones there at all. The danger in chemtrails, but who's told you that they're dangerous? The people that gave the information on them. When they use the science and they say about all the aluminium and barium and stuff in that, those videos are from 2015 and before. Type in military spray in the skies 5G. Type in military cloud seeding. They use it as a weapon. If you make it rain in certain locations, criminals are less likely to go out in certain times. If you flood certain roads, it redirects people. All that sort of stuff. I'm doing that. Thank you. You are very welcome. So, people, if you're watching the recording this, please do share comments and let us know anything that has come up for you. Anything you want me to look into more. I will do one on Flynn just to get that whole story for everyone. And to know that that's very close soon as well. His DVD comes out on the 9th of April. So you've got this big hoo-ha about the eclipse on the 8th, which, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen on then. People are so caught up on stuff like that. But with what's coming out now, and that's going to be huge because he has been a big part of it. He knows where the bodies are buried. As in any photo, any video, any confirmation on the internet at all that's ever been sent, any deleted thing, all been captured by us. Can you imagine if they, again with the Saudis, how do we know that they're dead? Well, let me take a photo of them and send it to you. Exactly, they just sprayed and the rain is coming. DJT. What about DJT? He's a hero. Jazzy, great song to Dancing in the Moonlight. Yeah, perfect. Put that on as well. Right, people, please remember to subscribe to the channel and I will be back on. I'll do a few more lives over the next few weeks, almost to give a breakdown of what's coming on. They won't be always as long as this. It's good to be back doing lives as well. So, peace out. Enjoy the Great Awakening. See what comes up for tomorrow with the Assange. The fact that his name's out of nowhere right now, he's in court case. Surely those dates would normally be confirmed. It's setting us up for big dominoes falling. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you all very, very soon.